Hello, welcome to the Decorators Den podcast Halloween special. Tonight, Sean wants to suck your
Blood.
cock.
I was going to say blood. Um, Welcome everybody. Tonight we've got a wee different episode just for a fucking carry on. And by the way, I'm dressed like a pumpkin, not like a vampire like Baz was making it there. We've got what we've got coming up, Baz. Baz has got to do a prank call for something today. We've got some
I've got a
ghost
prank call
stories,
coming on.
couple of guests, 2 or 3 guests coming up. We've got a couple of wee shitty stories off Facebook. I've got my own personal ghost experiences because I'm a big believer in the supernatural
The
and the
supernatural.
weird and wonderful things in life. Like so, no, I'm a believer in the other side. Let's say,
Yeah.
especially this time of year. Do you know what's even more freaky, Baz?
Go on.
See today on my Facebook,
Yeah.
it ticked over to. I got a friend request and accepted it, and then when I noticed I'd accepted it, it was
Casper.
666 friend request, person friend on Facebook.
Yeah.
666, and legit, by the way.
Oh.
So
Did
I
you
feel like I might
accept?
hate.
Did you
I
accept?
accepted it, but I might hate
Oh.
delete
Bad
somebody.
move, Sean. Bad move.
I might hate delete somebody. I'll probably delete Baz to be fair. Like,
Yeah. Delete me.
who have we got coming up first then, Baz?
So we've got Murph.
Yep.
Not particularly in this order, but we've got Murph, Rob at top notch. I think we've got Bowen Murphy, or is it Bowen Murphy's name?
I think it's Bo, but
Yeah.
what is he coming on?
I
Don't
don't
think he's
know.
coming on.
I don't know. Either he'll be on, or there'll be a video of him here.
So first joining us in the Halloween special is Murph the Kilted Painter, aka Murph the Makeup Artist from Channel 5. A celebrity in our minds. I admire him so much.
The
And
most
he's
famous person we've ever had.
the most
Is
famous painter I know. But Murph, how are you, Murph, before we get into your story?
Well, I'm a bit tired having to relive the tale. I'm not gonna lie.
Petrified. Eh?
I am, I'm a bit mortified having to relive the tale. I'm not gonna lie, guys.
Oh.
Oh, I'm
Is this
excited to
definitely
hear it.
Murph though? Because he has got a Batman mask on, so we don't actually know
Murph,
if it is Murph.
it's Murph, man.
Have you got your ID with you? Oh, there you go. We've got the right person.
Is the guy sitting with a health mask on?
Right, yeah, so you've got a ghost story to tell us.
I've got a ghost story to tell
Go
you.
on.
All right. So
Tell away.
I was working in Carbridge. Not sure if you're familiar with it,
No,
but
mate.
Nope.
I was working in a porch, and I saw a figure. He walked along the door, and he walked into the shed that was in the garden. And I figured, well, that must be the owner. I'll go and introduce myself. Now, the side of the shed, you could see, if you were to be looking at the shed, it was the left side of the shed, was facing the porch. So the front of the shed was facing away from me, and he walked around the corner into the shed. As I got closer to the shed and I passed the corner, I could see the front. I could see that the shed door was closed. And I thought, why would he go into the shed and close it behind him? That's very odd. And then as I got closer to the shed, I saw it was padlocked shut. And there was nowhere else this figure could have gone. So I 100% saw a ghost walk past the porch door into a shed.
So there was no
And,
one
and,
actually there?
There was nowhere else in the garden this figure could have gone.
Fucking hell.
and so when the owner came back later, did you speak to them about it?
I kept it to myself. I didn't think they would believe me.
Right? Because I feel like
Too scared in case it came back. He was like,
if you'd
I
maybe
won't, I'm not opening my mouth.
if you'd asked the owner, maybe they would have said, "Oh, I've had things like that happening before." Like, so how fucking freaky.
You know what? I think the reason I didn't tell, I think they newly bought the place. I didn't want to wig them out.
Yeah. Was it an old
Right.
Victorian person?
No, they were like wearing a blue, like regatta sort of fleecy looking thing.
Oh.
What the ghost was wearing a regatta fleece.
Regatta S. Regatta
A
S.
North Face hoodie. Pair of Nikes.
Oh,
Oh, fucking hell.
regatta S.
But and it true that though. How come all ghosts seem to be like for like Victorian times or the Dark Ages? But you never see a dinosaur as a ghost or a caveman ghost.
Yeah, innit?
A caveman ghost, do you?
It's like, rah! It's like, what the
A,
fuck are
go-
you doing here?
a ghost wearing a pair of fucking Nike high tops and a pair of fucking LA Galaxy shorts or something.
You
Yeah.
make a very good point, Sean.
Innit?
Yeah, it is. Do you know what? Especially in films as well, it's always Victorian. They've always got like nightgowns on and fucking. And you're thinking, surely everyone didn't die in a fucking nightgown.
Or they're nuns or something, aren't they? They're
Yeah,
always like
innit?
nuns. I'm really before he told that I really thought it would be a good idea to turn my office light off and sit here in the dark. I knew I'm really fucking the hair on the back of my neck standing up. Ken, I'm
Shit.
really like I'm really regretting my decision to turn my light off before we dealt with that. I feel like there's going to be a face that appears up here somewhere.
But yeah, for a good half an hour, I was wigged out by the figure, but then I just kind of cracked on afterwards because I thought, well,
And
he's not
were you
going to do me
working
any
out?
harm,
I
is
think
he?
you
He's a
were working
ghost.
outside.
No, I was inside. I was inside the porch.
Oh,
Oh,
I don't think I could even have finished the job. I'm a total
yeah.
believer in the supernatural, by the way. Like I'm fucking terrified of anything.
No, well,
See,
that's
Like
more
I
evidence to
wouldn't
back
have
it up.
I wouldn't have went back. I would have literally packed up my stuff, left, and messaged them to say, "You've got a ghost walking about
you've
in
got
a
a
blue
ghost. When you've
regatta
called the
hoodie.
Ghostbusters, let me know. I'll come back.
You've got a ghost walking about in a blue regatta hoodie." And
Pair of Nike trainers.
he was he was looking for a lawnmower or something. And
He was looking for the closest Tesco or something. I don't know what he was on about.
terrifying.
One.
So, Baz, while we're waiting on a couple of things, I've got a story for our Facebook page. This story's in from Gary Tatum. Working in a stately home in Stowmarket, me and the lady of the manor were the only ones in the house. As I was climbing the step ladder, I saw in the entrance area a blue shape standing in the doorway. I glanced but didn't take much notice until it spoke. It said, "Sally's coming for lunch." I looked up and said, "Who?" The blue shape was now a solid person, a young girl, teenager, blue dress with white hem, black shoes. She smiled and walked away to the left. Honestly, I didn't think much of it as the client had many visitors. I spoke with the spoke with the client, sorry, and told her what I saw and heard. And my client went white right in front of my eyes. She was visibly shaken. She said she had heard stories from other people about the girl in the blue dress, the ghost.
Oh.
She had never seen it or believed it until now. I then went a tad cold, but I was on that job for another 2 months and didn't see anything after that. What do you think of that
Oh.
story, Bass?
It's hard, isn't it? Because I'm
What
not.
would you?
I'm not like a firm believer.
Are you no
Um.
superstitious or anything?
Yeah.
See, honestly,
But if it was me and I saw it and I was convinced that I definitely saw that and I heard someone say, what was it, Sally's coming or something.
Sally's come for
Do you
lunch.
know what I mean? Like, I'd be like,
Yeah,
fuck. Like, how do you convince someone that that is definitely what happened?
aye.
Like,
If it was me, I wouldn't have been able to get him back.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'd be like, right, there's no way I can come back from that. Not a chance.
So I remember when I stayed in a place in Wigtown. I didn't stay there anymore, but I always had this weird feeling. My very first ever house, 64 Seaview in Wigtown, by the way, full docs address, right? And I used to stay upstairs beside my mum and in bedroom beside my mum and dad. So I was an only child at this point, right? My sister hadn't even been born yet, so I'd only be, or if she had, she'd be very little, so I'd only be about 4 or 5 year old, right?
Yeah.
And I remember very visually waking up in the middle of the night and somebody tickling my feet, right?
Oh God. Yeah.
And and, and I started laughing,
Yeah.
thinking my mum and dad were in the room because
Yeah.
my feet were getting tickled. And I lifted the covers off my bed and looked around, and there was a wee girl standing at the bottom of my bed, like a wee
Yeah.
apparition.
Fucking hell.
And I obviously, years later, I still try and think about like how I know what I've seen, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I try and I think of all these explanations, and nothing can explain
Nothing.
it,
Yeah.
right?
Nothing. Yeah.
So when my sister was born, I moved down the stair into this in the same house, and I used to sleep with my door slightly ajar. The way that door's sitting there, I don't know if you can see it. And I used to stay right beside the kitchen, right? But when I was lying in my bed at night, when I was trying to get to sleep, there was always a glow coming from the kitchen, maybe like the oven light being on
Yeah.
or
Yeah. Yeah.
something like that. And I remember like I'd be lying in my bed and I'd be looking at so my room's totally dark, but you can see like the glow coming because of the door lying
Yeah.
open. You can see the glow coming, and I remember just lying looking at the wall one night. What like I'd had the covers on my head because I was quite scared when I was younger, right? And I remember just this figure standing in the light of the kitchen. Like the hair, the back of my neck stands up as I'm telling it, right?
Yeah.
So I hated that house like I always. So years later, one of my friends moved into that house, and she had a daughter,
Yeah.
and I remember her saying like I never told her that I always reckoned the house was haunted, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember her telling me one time. Obviously, she didn't know about anything that happened to me in that house. Um, that she woke up, she come up down the stair, and the door would be locked, like somebody was locking her in the house.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
The doors, the house would lock itself, lock
Yeah.
her in
Yeah.
it, right? And so other times I've had ghost things happen to me. So I'm very like spiritually aware. I feel
Spiritual.
like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
my daughter actually has she's a similar gift. She like I don't know why to say I see dead people, but she's got that kind of way where when somebody
Yeah.
dies, she like it's almost like they're trying to communicate with her. I feel like
Yeah.
we must run right. But I had a babysitter when I was an infant, when I'd be 2 or 3 year old, right? And my mum, when I would be about two, my mum would hate to lie in bed beside me to try and get me to fall to sleep.
Yeah.
And my babysitter was killed in a car accident, right? His name was Gavin.
Yeah.
And she was lying in bed beside me, trying to get me to sleep. And of course, I didn't know that he'd died. I'd be too young, but everybody would be
Yeah. Yeah.
upset about me. And she was lying in the room, and I was lying in bed. She was trying to get me to sleep, and I just pointed up at the corner of the room and went, "There's Gavin."
Fucking hell. Yeah.
And my mum was like terrified and just be like, "Right, get to sleep." Okay.
Yeah.
And and all through my life, I've had things like I don't know if I've got a similar gift because I think when you're a child, like your son, for example, the gift really it's
It's
almost like
heightened in it. It's like as you grow
till
up,
you lose it.
you lose it. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and I feel like because my gift, I quite a gift because like obviously sometimes it's a good thing they try to contact you.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so the next time it had happened to me was I was about 11, 12. We went away to stay at Edinburgh with my uncle stayed in Edinburgh with his partner at the time. And my mum, my dad, my sister, and I was there myself. And me and my sister were sharing like a single bed. My sister was only 8 or something, say.
Yeah.
And we had a blanket to share. But my mum and dad were obviously going to be sharing like a sofa bed or something. Their blankets were sitting at the side of the room. We were in a bedroom, and I said to my sister, "Can everyone get that? Everyone get that blanket. We'll have a blanket each." And then when my mum and dad were going to bed later, they would have just took the blanket off as we'd be
Yeah,
asleep.
yeah.
So my sister walked over to get this blanket, and I just looked over at the door. Now, Edinburgh is known to be a very haunted city, by the way. It's a
Yeah,
very
yeah.
old city on it. There'll be loads of ghost stories about Edinburgh. And I just looked over at the door, and there was just this lady standing in the doorway. And of course, because I was 11, 12 year old, I just started absolutely fucking screaming, right?
Yeah, I can imagine.
And of course, because we were in the middle of Edinburgh, my mum and dad ran through thinking there was somebody trying to break into the house because I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like literally screaming the place down. There's this lady, like totally white, by the way, like
Yeah.
traditional ghost standing in the doorway, right? Just standing there. And of course, I started screaming. So, see, that night, I was about 11, 12 year old. I had to sleep in the bed. Well, me, my sister, and my mum and dad, I slept in the sofa bed, by the way,
Yeah.
because I was that terrified, right? And we were lying there, and at the I think I was in beside my dad, and my mum and Jade had kind of like the other edge of this other kind of bed,
Yeah.
and I was lying there, but I couldn't sleep. I knew what I'd seen, right? And I was
Yeah,
lying
yeah.
in that wee flat in Edinburgh, and it was as if it was. I'll use this for example. Say that. Oh, can you still hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
So say that was lying over the top of me. It was like a ghost had just came along and went and plucked the
Yeah.
covers off the top of me.
Jesus Christ.
And then my final time, my grandfather had died. I spoke about my grandfather before. It's a bit nicer Ian.
Yeah.
And my mum and dad were away to Gretna, which is about an hour and a half drive away for us. And they, they they were away at like say 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. My mum and dad are very like early risers if they're going away shopping for the day, right? And I was at home alone. I would be about 15 maybe. Or what age would I be? I'd be maybe older than 15 when my grandfather died. I can't remember exactly. Say 17. And I got woke up in the morning by somebody like wanting to talk to me, Ken, when somebody's maybe like you're lying in bed,
Yeah, and
teenager
they're
lying
like
in bed,
kinda.
and they're trying to shake you and
Yeah, yeah.
wake. And I'm of course half sleeping. I tell you the last day about when I was a talker and I'd been late, I'd be whatever when I was younger. And I was just like, get out my room, get out my room. And when the person left the room, I heard the door closing, and that's what triggered me into like somebody going, Sean, wake up, I want to
Yeah.
speak to you. And that's what triggered me into like into like fucking thinking,
What?
what was that in my room? And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
reckon I reckon it was my grandfather in the room, right?
Yeah.
And then like my granny when she passed away, my grandfather was 65, 60 when he died. My granny was 60. So sorry, my grandfather was 60 when he died. My granny was 65. And I remember she died of like fucking brain cancer, just morbid. Again, it's meant to be light-hearted, this, right? But went down and seen her at the fucking hospital, right? And she wasn't a liar, my granny, or all like that. It was very like, I'd just get in and I'd hear a chat with her. She couldn't, she had no feeling in her left side of the body. She could only cut. So I'd get in and cut her food up and talk
Yeah,
to
yeah.
her.
Yeah.
Right? She was dying, like, and she says to me, do you know who came in and seen me last night? I was like, who? Expecting it to be somebody like family member or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
She says your granddad, and my hair in the back of my neck just stood up. Right,
Yeah.
I was like, what do you mean? She was like, he came in and seen me last night, and I goes, what did you say, and what did he say to you? I said, what are you doing here to him? And he said, I'm here to get you. And 2 days later, she was dead.
Jesus Christ.
And so, I'm a big fucking believer in
So,
supernatural.
do you believe in people who can see spirits? By the
I want
way,
to.
that has just creeped me out. Let me WhatsApp you this picture. I've just
Well,
saw it at the corner of my eye.
verbalize it for the folk that are watching.
So I've just been on this monitor that me and Sean are on. If you're watching, obviously you can see our screen. It's me, Sean, background, blah blah blah. But underneath that, there's all the different layers, and we've had Murph on. Sorry, we've had Murph on, and before he left, his camera froze. Now I can still see that layer of his camera, and he
Aye.
was in the dark, and he had a Batman mask on, and I've just looked at Sean, slightly looked down, and just saw this fucking creepy fucking figure at the
Black
corner of
figure.
my eye. Just as Sean
Oh,
was just on about that story, then he fucking
so,
shit me
so,
up.
so no, like, I believe in, well, by the way, we'll add that picture to WhatsApp, what Baz has seen,
Yeah, I'll
we'll
add
add
it
it
on.
in, or we'll add it into the show notes. But no, like,
Um,
to answer your question, Baz, I think that I believe in, I don't think everybody that speaks to spirits is is legit. I think there's loads of con artists out
yeah,
there.
there is a lot of
I
con
think
artists
I think
because
there's certain folk that are actually gifted, and I believe that I am gifted, but I don't know how to hone my skills. I don't know
yeah,
how
yeah, you
to.
don't know how.
And,
Yeah.
and to tell you
So
the
there was
truth,
I had a customer a couple of years ago, and I was telling her about, because she said that her husband had recently died and whatever, and she was telling me all these stories,
yeah,
like all these spiritual stories and that, and we got onto the conversation of my mum and dad, and I said, oh yeah, like my mum died when I was about 5ish. My dad died about 2018 or something like that. And a few hours later, she come up and she was like, I'm getting a lady here. Did your mum have blonde hair? I said, no. She had like dark hair, like jet black hair, basically. It's like, oh, I'm getting... It's someone, and it's like, she's telling me her name is... And I can't remember what the name is, and she told me this name. She's like, is it this name? And I went, no. She was like, oh, there's someone here wants to speak to you about... And I was like, I don't think I've got anyone in the family with that name at all. Like, and
I
she was like, oh
just
no, she's definitely your family and blah blah. And I was like, there literally isn't. And I spoke to like some family members and that, and I was like, have you ever had this name? Everyone was just like, no, we've never had
see. I
that.
had like I kind of said there. I feel like I've got a skill or something spiritual, but I obviously don't know how to use the skill, or I've
Yeah,
never
yeah,
found it at all. But I think maybe it ran in my family because I'm sure my great granny had something where she dreamt something and it happened. And like I said about my daughter, he sees kind of things happening, which I always say to, but me and my wife discussed it no long. I always say to her, like, tell Charlotte not to be scared of it because it can be a good thing if you're interested in that kind of thing. It's no there to terrify you. Like
yeah,
it's
yeah,
obviously no very nice getting your fucking feet tickled and it
yeah,
terrifies you. But I remember even getting my palms read for a family member years ago. I'm making it sound like I come off like a gypsy background, but
yeah,
but the palm reader looked at my palm in my hand. I don't know if there's any palm readers that watch the podcast. I don't know how clear that is. But they looked at my hand, and the first thing, as soon as they looked at my hand, they just went, "Oh, you're going to hear." I was only young at the time. "Oh, you're going to hear an accident in water."
oh, fucking
And
hell.
and I mean, I was only maybe 8 or 9 year old. I'd hate to
Yeah,
ask my mum and dad like to find out, right? And as soon as the person had said that, they my mum and dad stopped them reading my palm because I was at like a family do, so
yeah,
like
yeah,
don't read on me kind of thing, and roll for it fucking 4 or 5 year in the at the time I nearly broke my neck diving into a pool in Tenerife Aqua Park and could have
yeah,
killed myself in water.
fucking hell.
So no, it could be coincidence. It probably is
See,
coincidence.
I'm
But
like that. So there was one time where I did go and see someone, and they were like, "Oh, you need turn your music down while you're driving because I have it blasting. You need to turn your music down while you're driving, otherwise you're going to crash. And I was like, what kind of fucking reading is that? But yeah, about 3 or 4 months later, obviously I was blasting my music, and this 17-year-old in a Corsa fucking smashed into me. And I thought that's just coincidence, that, because I didn't crash, they crashed into me. But yeah, fucking, that's the only kind of thing where it has kind of come close. But then to me, that's just coincidence.
And what about like Ouija boards and stuff when you were younger? You never did anything like that, no?
What, sorry?
Ouija board.
I've always wanted to do one. I've never done one, but I have wanted to do one.
See, we mentioned we used to go to like a youth club that was run by like a minister,
Yeah.
and he was cool as fuck. Father fucking Ted. We used to hear laugh him. A great fucking guy, right? Stephen McGarver, brilliant. And we were talking about the Ouija board with him one night.
Yeah.
And Steve McGarvey is the most relaxed person you'll ever meet. He's such a nice, down to earth. He's no your average fucking church minister. He's so like cool, young. Well, he was young at the time. He's maybe not so young nowadays. But we were talking about the Ouija board, and he just went like this. He went, "Don't ever do the Ouija board." He says that can tell you things that can't be explained. It could tell you like the day you're gonna die. And it might not be right, but see if I was to, for example, tell you, oh, you're going to die on the 11th of November.
You start manifesting, don't you? Fucking
Exactly, and you start. So on the 11th of November, you think, oh fuck, I'm going to make sure I've got my seatbelt plugged in,
Yeah.
and I'm going to fucking no yes on the electrics,
But then you
you
start being too careful and then end up dying because you've been
and then you end up
you've not been doing
dying.
stuff that you would normally do.
By the way, this is a disclaimer. If what happens to Baz on the 11th of November, I've got fuck all to do with it.
Yeah, if I die, Sean, you're getting sued. My family's about to be rich, baby.
They'll be fucking rich off me. I'll be the ghost then.
Do you know what? I feel like there's a lot of things that I've always passed off as just nothing to do with ghosts. It's like when I was younger, I don't know whether it was like sleep paralysis or whatever, but I'd be asleep, and then, do you know, like, if you close your eyes and they're not fully closed, if you kind of put your hand in front, you can kind of see that shadow, can't you? So I'd be asleep, and this big black shadow hand figure would just go poof and smash into my face, and obviously I'd wake up, and I'd be like, what the fuck? But it used to happen quite a lot, that. But I think that was just like...
Because my wife actually gets sleep paralysis, and you hear like a demon, or you hear that kind of type things where they're putting pressure in your chest and stuff. Again, I don't know, like, there's loads of stuff out there that's no fucking unexplainable. Like, is it literally? I mean, your brain is incredible.
Yeah, is it in your brain, or is it real? Because I saw something. Like, what if? So when as people can see like figures and ghosts and different stuff, what if them people are seeing the real world and we're not seeing what's actually the real world? Do you know what I mean? Because that'd be mad, that, if that was the case.
Or drugs. I think the same about drugs. Like,
what if you take drugs and that's what makes you see the real world, or something like that?
If you take magic mushrooms, or you take acid or something, and kind of how people are tripping out, what if that's actually what the world is like? And we're just fucking constantly in our phase in a day. I've got another story here. I've got another in for you before we get on to Rob's chat that'll be coming up next. Okay, Mark Tidd, again on the Facebook thing. I worked at the CITB site at Bircham Newton in Norfolk. I'm not familiar with it. It's an old wartime airfield, and there you go. we were doing up a hotel on site, and everyone's materials were stored in what are now squash courts. So much stuff went on. Sightings of figures walking the hallways, people's radio picking up old radio messages from pilots, stuff moving. In 8 weeks, in the 8 weeks I was there, 5 different blokes from various companies walked off site and refused to come back. Nobody'd be left in site alone to lock up, only in pairs. There was loads of stuff. There's loads of stuff on the internet and YouTube about the place. It's quite famous for ghosts, apparently. So that's Bircham, Newton, and Norfolk. So there you go. There's a bit of homework for everybody
Yeah. Get it
this
searched.
Friday night. What do you think of
Right.
that, Ian?
What?
The likes so likes of that, they are wartime places. If you're into that kind of stuff, if you look up like Gettysburg, you've maybe heard it's an American one, but there's loads of videos on YouTube about it.
See,
Like
do you know what? I find
soldier,
all the mad stuff like aliens and stuff like that. It's always in America, innit?
is that just because America's? I always thought that too. Why is it always America? But is that just because we're writing in English, so when we're googling something, it's in English. If you're googling something in French, you're going to get stuff in French, or Russian, you're going to get stuff in Russia. I always wondered if you translated the word
Yeah,
ghost and typed
but
in
if you're searching, so if you went like ghost in name somewhere in Russia,
Moscow.
Moscow. So ghost in Moscow, that is still searching anyway. So it doesn't matter if it's in English or
Aye, but if you're typing the words in English, if you went to Google Translate, wrote "ghost in Moscow," translated into Russian, and then set because Google itself is even it's a US thing, so
yeah.
you're already starting onto the US side before it. But no, I find it highly interesting. I
Yeah.
used to when I was younger, maybe not as much nowadays, but I used to because nowadays there's too much AI.
Yeah, you don't know what's real, do you?
Ken, so you could literally be like falling for any fucking clips or
Yeah.
stuff like that. No, let's get into fucking the chat with top notch Rob people.
So Rob, you've got a ghost story for us.
I have, yeah.
Go on.
So this goes back to about 1998, and my mother and father had split up about a year before, and my mum ended up getting a rental down in a village called Oakcliff, not far from where I live now actually, but it's a bit of an airy place it is. And one night I come home from school. My mother worked as because she's French. My mum, she worked as a national semiconductors. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Nope.
No,
Doing microchips and stuff, but selling abroad in France.
right.
And I gets home from school, and I gets into the house, and usually it was me that were home first. So I goes upstairs, and I'm meeting some mates out, so I'm getting changed and that as you do. It's a winter's night, and I goes in the bathroom and I'm putting a bit of gel on my old hair, like you do when you're a bit younger. And I hear this front door open. Front door opened, shut, and I heard some footsteps at the bottom of the steps. And it's true, this honestly, I'm not making this up. And I turn around.
Just thinking stuff.
I'm in the bathroom at the top of the steps, in the doing hair, and I went, "Mum, you're home early, aren't you?" I says, "You're home early, aren't you?" And I didn't hear a thing. And I went, "Mum." And then I didn't hear out. I went, "Mum, is that you?" And then I heard some footsteps coming up the steps. And I come out of the bathroom, and I could hear the last few steps in front of me. And I shit my pants. I bolted out of the house. Do you remember the phones where they were cordless?
Aye.
Before, we didn't have I didn't have a mobile phone then, but we had a cordless handset at home. And I was ringing my mate and I was saying, "You're not going to fucking believe what's happened." I'm in the house, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that night, my mum was sort of seeing a fella. And they'd both come down.
Was the fella a ghost or what?
No, it wasn't mum's black boyfriend and that.
Oh, right.
They're
right.
together, they're married now. And I gets into the house and some coats had fallen off under the stair cupboard. And he was saying it was that. And I was like, it wasn't that. I'm telling you, I know what I heard. I know what it was right in front of me. It felt eerie as hell and all this lot. Anyway, everyone thought we were crackers. About a month later, I'm in the house. My brother had an argument with his girlfriend. And he come to stay at ours, like you do, a bit of bed surfing. And he was in my double bed with me. Well, I was about 14 at the time.
Aye.
And I remember this particular morning, I felt something touch me on my face. I'm asleep. And I wasn't lucid dreaming, I was awake. So I woke my brother up. And in the corner at bedroom was this little kid running around.
Fucking hell.
And the image were like static TV. You remember what TVs used to go on the static?
Yeah,
black
yeah.
and white haze kind of thing.
That's what it looked like. You couldn't fully make it out, but you could make it out, and it was running around. And then it come right up to me outside at bed. I had made a cover and that, and I just went like that with cover. And then I lifted cover back off, and it was still running around. And this was morning. It wasn't night time. This was like I say, summer's morning, March time, I think it was. And I woke my brother up like I gave him an elbow. I went, "Here, can you see this? Can you see this?" And he woke up, and then it vanished. But after that, I didn't like being in the house on my own, and I knew there was something. But the area's really eerie.
Yeah.
Right.
But this is where the plot thickens now. So I thought that this little thing looked like a boy, and about 5 years, about 7 years ago, I got a phone call off my mum. And she says, "Do you remember that time you saw that thing in bedroom, that little boy?"
Do they still live in the same house, by the way?
No, we'd moved on.
But your mum and that still? Oh no, they don't. Nobody lives.
No.
Right.
She ended up moving in with a fella,
Right.
and they ended up getting an house together.
Right.
And she says, "But we all live near this. It's not far from my house now. If I want to go there by car, it'd be about 10 minutes away."
Right.
And she says to me, "Well, do you remember that house we lived in down Vale Mill Lane?" And I went, "Oh, yeah, that one." She says, "My friend's just moved into it from church. Been there about 3 months." She says she sees a little boy all the time in the house.
Fucking hell.
And that is straight up that. Honestly.
That is...
No
creepy,
lies at all.
Like... well,
Well,
creepy,
weird.
that. Yeah.
And did anybody else in the house when you lived there have any experiences with, or did they all just think you were like fucking mental or what?
The people thought I was crazy. But I think,
And
do you know, things were moving. Things in the house were getting moved around, and my mum would come down and say, "Where's that gone?" And I'd say, "Well, I haven't touched it."
Yeah.
There were a bit of that. There weren't like knives and forks going missing. We're not like that, but there was stuff that were moving, and it did feel really eerie, this house.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'll send, after this, I'll send you a picture of where it is.
I think,
and you'll understand.
When were you the youngest person in the house?
Yeah.
So I had a theory. I'd kind of had a theory. It'll be earlier on or later on in this thing. But I don't know when we're putting the video in, but like when you're younger, you're almost more perceptible to things happening. Like when you're younger, it's almost like your connection's better with the spirit world kind of thing. That adults don't see it.
Yeah.
Or something like that, kid.
Yeah.
I think you're right there, there's been something else as well. We once stayed in a chateau in France. Again, with my mum having the French connection, we went to a chateau in France, and behind the chateau, was a right big massive house it was, in the middle of nowhere. and behind it were the quarters of the staff that they were like letting out as a rental.
Yeah.
Aye.
And this one night, 2 families had gone, so I think there were like 5 kids there and 4 adults. This is when my mum and dad got together. I was about 9 at this point. And we were in this place one night. And again, it were right here. It used to make corn in it and stuff like that. And I come out of the bedroom, and at the top of the corridor, what bathroom? And I'm not shitting you, I was going to the toilet. And in this bathroom, there was a shadow of like a black figure looking down the corridor. But it had right funny eyes that were like not white. You know, like it were dark, but it wasn't fully dark. There were lights outside, shining shadows coming through windows.
Yeah.
And its eyes were weird as fuck, honestly. I remember I bolted into my mother and father's bedroom. I says, listen, I can't remember what I said. It like 9, but I said, I ain't staying in there. A couple of days later, we ended up going into the shadow. And the woman were weird as hell. Do you remember Septic Peg?
Aye. I missed it, Meg.
Lottery. Mystic Meg. And there were that piss tape, wasn't there? Well, listen to this. That is how I would describe this woman. That's what she looked like.
Yeah.
And she lived there with her son, if I remember rightly. And this chateau had like 50 bedrooms. And she says, I'll show you around the chateau. But we originally thought we were staying in that. It was like when we got there, we got this little shitty thing behind the thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And when we went in, every piece of furniture was slashed
Fucking
and
hell.
sewn up. And I'm talking ornate furniture.
I bet I never
You know,
saw
like
that
these
coming.
fancy. It were weird as hell. And we walked around it and we're all looking at each other. And even I remember my father going, what the fucking hell's going on here? And when we get outside, she was like growing fruits on this land because we were like in the middle of nowhere with this land. She was like growing fruits. I think it was like apricots and stuff like that. And she said I remember her saying, I've made this apricot, what do they call it? Like a liqueur.
Oh, yeah.
They mixed it with a bit of wine and that.
Aye.
And they're sat down and they're having a bit of something to eat. And we're in a garden bit. And I just remember my mum saying, we won't tell Robin that. And I went, tell me what? He knows you do. She went, no, I'm not saying it. And I says, no, tell me. And she says, well, we're leaving it. She says, I'll tell you. She says, and she's translating, the woman speaking in French. She says, her dogs won't climb the steps into that premises at the back. They sit there, looking up the steps, barking, growling, getting aggressive. She says, they won't go inside it. And I thought, fucking hell, that's up. That last night there with a right shit, I slept in our lad's bed. I think I jumped in his bed with him.
Aye, fucking right. Aye, fucking right.
But yeah, that
fucking entity up the stairs, fucking.
That was eerie. Eerie.
Aye.
You know, like sometimes you're in an eerie position. I've worked in that, like I said to you, I mean, I won't get into that story. But like I told you about the story about Bolton Abbey. But it's like your hair stand up back here, isn't it? And you think.
You just know it.
It sometimes happens to me in house. I might be in a room on my own, and I'll get that feeling. It's weird.
You feel like you're being watched or something, eh?
Almost like something's behind you. It is strange.
Scary
and then
stuff.
it's like, but balmy. But I always remember but obviously nothing's ever happened to me. And I always remember someone saying, don't be scared of the dead. Be scared of the living.
Scared of the living.
Aye, fucking right, eh?
And then after this week's job, I thought to myself, them bastard plasterers are haunting me. Fucking death they are. I'm telling you.
That's a fucking cuss word.
They are haunting me.
Yeah. That's a fucking
I've had
cuss word, plasterer.
My nephew, he were in the living room at his house. He was only a kid, like. And I only found this out a few years ago. And they were watching one of these, you know, like Most Haunted.
Yep.
And they were playing about with some kind of, it wasn't a Ouija board, but they were like trying to contact this entity in this place.
Yep.
And it were a live one. And he were
Got a live one.
participating. He were participating in it, you know, like there must have been a way of getting viewers to participate.
Because I used to watch them myself, and you could watch like webcams. Like
Yeah.
you could know that kind of webcams, but you could watch a webcam saying they were pointing at like an empty room with a chair in it and shit like that, and
Yeah.
you're watching maybe 8 different feeds to see if the chair moved or whatever. Ken. So sorry,
Well, this I
I
found
when I said webcams here.
I found out this because he once came to my house as a young adult, and we tried to put a scary film on, and I've never seen anybody shit themselves like him. He says, I can't watch it. And all the way through filming like that, you know, with pillow on the sofa. And then, but before the film started, they were telling me the story, and basically, after that program, or mid program, my brother had said to him, "Don't walk dog." And he got it because they had a garage that were attached to the house, so they had a TV in there. And he went to take the dog out, and he could hear footsteps behind him as he was walking the dog. He swears by this. Like, this is my story, so I'm telling you what I know. He said he could hear footsteps, and every time he sped up, these footsteps sped up. And when he got back to the house, so he'd gone up the road, fuck this for a game of toy soldiers. I'm off after watching that, you know, like we were saying, puts you on a bit of edge, doesn't it? He goes into the garage, and he says when he got into the garage with his dog, and it was a Labrador, great little dog it was. He says there was a picture of him, and it was a portrait. They were doing house up, and the portrait was let up like that, you know, not straight up, let up like that. And he said this picture went like that and smashed the fucking face, and it was a picture of him, and a drawn picture. They went into the house. It must have caused a bit of a scene, and that said, you know, what had happened and all this stuff. That night, somebody tried to jump on him in bed. They ended up getting a spiritualist round, and their conclusion was that there were something to do. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Is it ley lines? Ley lines?
Is it what? Come closer, I can't erect here.
I know.
They call them ley lines.
No,
Have you ever heard of them?
No.
The magnetical energy lines are actually true. There's a ley line map.
Right.
You can. I looked into this after he told me. And these ley lines, they reckon that when they cross, that's when shit can happen. And they came and put.
I've heard of Leylands.
Hey, listen, they came. They put. Well, they have these like readers and that, you know, to read energy.
All right, yeah.
They put something in the garden like a stake that deflected this energy. But apparently it wasn't just him, it was his little brother was saying stuff and all. And what this spiritualist was saying, we'll put this in the ground, it'll deflect the energy from the ley lines, the magnetic energy or something like that, and it'll go around your house. Well, that is true, is that, honestly. 100%. They put that in the garden, and he always goes on about it. Like I said, when he came to that film at our house, you should have seen him. He won't watch all that. It's not his cup of tea.
Yeah, fucking hell.
Whereas me, I don't mind watching it.
I'll watch scary films, but see when you're telling that story, and this is I don't actually know the full story, but this is for my dad to tell when I eventually get my dad on the podcast, right? So my dad years ago, he died. I'm gonna just paraphrase the story because I can't remember exactly what it is. But he went say bowling, kind of like green bowling.
Yeah.
Because it's a big thing in rural communities. So he was bowling, and he decided, I think he was walking home for the bowling at a dark night, right, dark autumn night. So he's walking, no street lights or fuck all back in the days or whatever, and he hears these footsteps behind him, right? And so he stops, and the footsteps stop, and then he starts fucking walking again, and he hears these behind him again, and he stops, and the footsteps stop again. Just your story got me thinking there. And so he started walking again, and the footsteps started coming again, right? But so instead of stopping, he started to run, but the footsteps got faster. It was a fucking horse that followed him home.
What's that?
My dad, I think we're going to plan to get our dads on Father's Day. We're going to do a Father's Day special.
Yeah.
And we're going to get
Oh,
mine
so
and
I
Dad's.
want a ghost out.
It wasn't a ghost, it was a horse that followed. A horse had got out of a stable somewhere, and it was pure black, and you couldn't see it in the night. And it was following my dad. And then when my dad stopped, it would stop. And then when he started walking again, it would start walking again. And of course, when it started running, the horse ran behind him.
So we've been sent a video by Nolan Decorating, and this is his ghost story.
How's it going, Baz and Sean? Delighted to be on this Halloween episode of my podcast with my own personal ghost story. Just for anyone there doesn't know me, it's Sean Nolan from Nolan Decorating, and obviously Sid, me little mascot too. So this ghost story goes back 2 years ago. I think it was last year actually. So pretty much, I went to have a look at a job for a customer, and she lived in like a kind of council apartment, and she was on the bottom floor. It was herself and just one above her. And went and had a look, no problem at all. She had a load of mould and damp in her bedroom. Now, when I went looking at it, she told me that the council had been out. They did fence, they done, the insulation, they done everything. So they can't figure out where the mold is coming from, and there's a whole bizarre thing. Now, the customer was adamant that upstairs she was doing something above her and was giving her mold. We don't know. The mystery, well, is it a mystery, is still to be seen. So, what happened was, I went down and had a look for this woman. Yeah, no problem at all. She wanted her whole bedroom done perfect. Now, she had a lot of stuff in the bedroom, and she told me she'll clear everything out. And we start on the following Monday. Start on the following Monday because she was going on a holiday. Placing myself, perfect. So sure enough, went up on Monday morning. Key was left out for me with another neighbour. Went in and started cracking away, fixing all the mould and all that stuff first. Yeah, no problem at all, no issues. Then it was coming probably the afternoon. So we walk into this lady's apartment. And as she says, on the ground floor, you had her bedroom to the left, bathroom in front, and then the utility room to the right. So I'm in the bedroom, and next thing I can hear is, oh, there was one of my figurines dropped. Anyway, bang, bang. And I was like, Jesus Christ. I said, the neighbours upstairs making an awful noise, like, because, no other reason for it. So maybe they're doing kids or so. Then the next day, working away, same thing again. And it was kind of bang, bang, and it was kind of like a door opening and closing. And I was like, fucking hell, like, just mental. So, sure enough, went away, kept doing what I was doing. So I finished up, went Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, finished up on the Wednesday, went back Thursday, took everything away, sorted. She arrived home on the Saturday night. So on Sunday, driving by to go in there and get paid for that job. Yeah, as you do. So I went in on Sunday to get paid, and we're just there talking. And I says to her, he goes, your neighbours are very loud upstairs. I was like, the banging, bang, bang, and the doors and everything, like the noise of them upstairs. And she says to me, Sean, that apartment has been vacant for 3 weeks. And I goes, oh God. I was like, maybe there's squatters up there. And he said, no, they have no squatters because the landlord was back down yesterday, so we're on the Saturday to make sure everything was alright, everything was clean, because they were on the market. So no squatters, no nothing. And I was like, but I could definitely hear bang, bang, and doors and so on. I said, it must be a window or something. She said, no, I don't think so. I said, where was it coming from? And I said, so I'm in her bedroom, and I goes, out, to the left, to your kind of utility room out there. And then she goes to me, oh God, with a laugh, I'm very sorry. I'll go show you now what it could have been. She opens the drawer. So because she emptied everything from her bedroom into the utility room, opens it up. It's all these kind of like, what would you say, bits and bobs. Like there was a doll, there was no warm metal, there was, what do you call them things you throw on the ground? Marbles. Marbles. There was like a feather. Jesus, there was a book. There was a Charles Dickens book, Great Expectations, all random bits and bobs. And I was just like, okay. And then she goes to explain to me that she's a ghost hunter, right? And I said, sorry? She goes, yeah, I'm a ghost hunter. Sorry, I should have explained that to you. That's where I was this week. We were staying down, I think it's Wexford, one of the most haunted places in Ireland, in the castle. And he goes, right. He goes, oh yeah, we were in Romania there a few months ago as well. And we went to these old buildings, we set up the cameras and all that malark. But she explained to me is, if I'm ever drawn to something, be like, a figure or a doll or whatever, I'll bring it home with me. Because I feel that the ghosts feel that I need to have this. And I was like, right. Now bear in mind, I'm absolutely breaking it.
Yeah.
I've been working all week in this room with the big bang and everything going fucking on. And she's just like saying it like it's nothing to me. And I was like, right, okay. And she goes, yeah. And she goes, leave that doll there. So it was like, an old kind of Georgian doll in the cupboard. And she says to me, like, even that doll there, like there's a very bad spirit with that. It was a young girl that owned it. And apparently she drowned it in the pond of the farm, around the farm. And I goes, right. And then she goes, yeah. So I was really drawn to it and I brought it home. And I was like, Jesus Christ. So what she said to me then was, she thinks because everything was in her room and because I came to do the work, because she moved all these like tricklets and everything, called tricklets, bits and bobs. She moved all of it into the utility room. They were not best pleased or a bit pissed off. And obviously whatever spirits were mixing around was making that banging noise. So yeah, that was that. And the strange thing is, okay, so back to the start of the story about the mold, there was vents put in, insulation put in, no issues, no nothing. Couldn't find a reason why. Since I did her bedroom, so it would have been a year ago, yeah, did her bedroom a year ago. She has a bunch of stuff back in there. She has it on the cupboard, and the cupboard's full of mold and black spots. So, I guess the spirits were bringing a bad vibe with them, and that's that. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed my ghost story. Baz and Sean, keep up the podcast, man. You guys are doing great. If nobody understood that with my Dublin accent, maybe Baz can put subtitles on. But in fairness, we can all understand Sean's Scottish accent. There should be no problem. Happy Halloween, guys.
That's fucking amazing. That's like a real life Annabelle story.
Yeah, innit?
The Annabelle doll, innit?
Literally, yeah.
And the corruption, obviously, of the mold growing in the fucking the cupboard, instead of the room. So
the thing is, as well, she was collecting what they call trinkets.
I understood.
Mate, honestly,
that obviously Scottish and Irish accents are fucking Celtic fucking brethren, aren't they? So I've got an Irish name, so it'd be something wrong if I couldn't fucking understand the Dublin accent, like so.
Yeah.
But no, that is
Sean is
story.
a top lad. But no, that story is fucking. I'd be well out of that house, me.
Got the fucking hair in the back of my neck standing up. that was just banged at the window or something there. It scared me like so.
Sean's fucking shitting himself now. Nice.
Great fucking timing, by the
way. No, really appreciate the story, Sean at Nolan Decorating. Right, well, I hope you're enjoying the episode so far. Sean's going to be having nightmares by the end of this episode, so enjoy. Speaking of nightmares, have you got any nightmare customer stories?
I do. I had one when I first started off my own business.
So this is your story?
Aye, my own personal nightmare customer. So basically, I was very new to working. I was only about 4 months started, and there was people I was working for that was building a new house in the town that I live in, and I'm always careful, always like to do my due diligence when I'm working for new people.
Yeah.
And I'd asked my joiner mate about these people that I was working for, and he'd said, don't worry, they'll pay you no bother. And so they did. These people paid no bother, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time when I was doing that job, there was this girl that I was working for in the same village, and I never did my due diligence on her because she'd actually been a childminder to my youngest daughter at one
All right,
point,
yeah.
and she works locally, and she was as nice as pie during the job, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Until I sent her the invoice, right? And I basically went. So I got obviously finished the job, and then the next thing I got a message through saying it was inside painting the kitchens where like she bought the paint. It was Wilkinson's paint, so
Oh
I don't know
God.
how to tell her. That's a fucking
That's
scary
a red
story in
flag
itself.
right there.
So she picked the paint. So that's how I was kind of naive to start with. I should have probably just turned around and said, "Nah, I'm no using it. It's shit."
Yeah.
So basically, it didn't cover in two coats, but I gave it a third coat anyway as a courtesy, and she'd no paint left. But that wasn't actually her issue. She started saying that there was paint on her garden gate outside, which was a load of rubbish. There was a light broken apparently in her house. I'd got paint on her curtains. Her curtains that wasn't even in the same room that I was working in, and it was basically just lies after lies
Yeah, yeah.
that I kept catching her out on, right. And basically, she ended up she was a non-payer. She didn't want to pay the bill, and I felt fucking so stupid. I was going to take her to small claims court now, but I mean it was like 425 quid. It wasn't fucking worth taking her
Yeah,
to
going to
small
court.
claims,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But since then, I actually found out that I wasn't the only person that she's did that to.
All right.
She's known for doing it. So if I had done my due diligence at the
Yeah, you'd
start,
have
like I
found
do,
that out, wouldn't you?
I would
Yeah,
have
yeah.
found that out. But apparently she's quite well known to be no pay decorators, no pay carpet fitters, and that I mean I've heard about 3 or 4 stories for the same girl, no paying folk. Ken, so I've had my nightmare customer and learned a lesson. That one of the lessons was never use Wilkinson's paint, and if
Yeah.
you're going to use any retail paint, get them to sign a disclaimer first. But no, there was a lot more to that story, but I thought we maybe better laying it what it is
Well,
because there's a lot more to happen to that story as well. Like,
I had one a couple of years
yep,
ago where she worked. I don't know what she did, but she worked for the NHS. I don't know in what sector. And basically,
morgue
she
probably.
said I want the kitchen done and the utility room lining papered and obviously painted the same as the kitchen. So like,
Yep,
yeah, did it all. And as I do with everyone before I leave, I say, go around, check you're happy, make sure you're happy with everything, blah, blah.
aye,
So yeah, everything's perfect, blah, blah. So like, right. So off I went home. She said, you've scratched the light switch because it was a chrome light switch. And I said, I haven't because I didn't use my knife, I used my scissors. She was like, right, well, is is that the best price? Is it
aye,
I think it was like X amount, and she was like, this is what you originally quoted. Is that your best price? Because you seem to be making more in a day than I do in a week. And I'm like, well, that's just what I charge. You accepted the price.
exactly.
And
She knew the price
yeah,
before you started the job,
exactly.
by the way. Aye.
And she said, it just doesn't seem fair that you're earning this and I don't even get that in a month. I'm running a business, you're not. You're working for someone. Do you know what I
Exactly.
mean? So she kept trying to get out of paying and trying to find reasons not to pay.
Yep.
But yeah, she ended up paying.
Aye, exactly. Well, you get
And like you
that.
said, it wasn't enough where it was worth going to court about.
No,
So it was like,
exactly. It's no worth the hassle. There's other ways and means of getting folk back like
yeah.
that. Like so.
For legal
Um,
reasons, we can't list anything, but.
exactly. Just my tip to anybody out there with a bad payer or somebody that isn't paying, just send them the fun fact of the day, which is bricks are cheaper than windows, and it's
Yeah,
just a fact.
exactly
Just a
that.
fact.
It's
Bricks are
just
cheaper
a
than
nice fun
windows.
fact.
Aye, fun fact of the day number 26.
There's
Bricks
no
are cheaper
reason
than
why
windows.
I'm telling you. I just thought I would tell you. Yeah. Right, on to the next.
Yeah. So, Baz, we've got a wee clip here for Bo and Murphy TikTok. It's a wee clip of something that he's seen on his Ring doorbell, but I'll let Bo explain it himself.
Yeah. So let's play the first clip.
Yeah.
Everyone can please just share the video out and debunk it or comment and tell me what you all think. Because there is something there.
Right, it's at the end of the clip.
Right, how you doing, boys and girls? Right,
There we go.
now I am a firm believer in life after death, yeah? This ain't one of my normal posts, but if you stick around to the end, I'll show you a video of 2 minutes before this, where there ain't nothing there. But can you all see that there, look? Now please tell me that looks like a ghost or something, or I don't know.
Almost see a head
that
there,
Kirsty
can't you?
walks through it,
Yeah.
and it like
You can
puffs
see
out.
you can
She
see a
walks
figure,
back through
can't
it.
you?
Please, there is something there. Please don't tell me I'm going crazy. I'll call it. This is my Ring doorbell, by the way. Look, now look, she walks through it. You can sort of make something out there, look. But someone who knows something about this, can everyone share this video, get it out to as many people as possible,
Oh,
and
as she walks through it.
someone at least try and debunk it. But look, here's a video
And look
from
here's
a
a wee
couple of minutes
clip
before,
of
2 minutes before that, and there's
That's
nothing
2 minutes
there.
before. Yeah, not a
Now
thing.
that is a ghost. It's got to be. So there's something there. Look, that is a
'Cause I
ghost. Yeah, if
almost
everyone
see
can please
like
just share the video
a
out and
head
debunk it or
over.
comment and tell me what you all think. Because there is something there.
Like I can
Right,
almost
how you
see
doing,
like a
boys?
head and shoulders there.
Pardon?
Like I can see like a head and and shoulders.
And shoulders,
there
yeah.
Aye. Like the top
So
half.
what he actually does now is, let me just get this up for you.
Yeah.
He asks ChatGPT to enhance the image, and look at this.
Fucking hell, that's got you can even see like
Yeah, it's clear there, innit?
you can even but that see the window behind the
Yeah.
face there that
Yeah.
it's generated. So is this a video
Yeah, it's a video, yeah.
Morning, boys and girls. I hope you're all alright. But I asked ChatGPT to enhance the image from that video of me Ring doorbell and have a look at this. That is what it come back with. So that is at the front of my house.
And that
I
is
circled the bit
clear,
where I thought I could see
clear
a
as
face,
day.
put it in ChatGPT and said, can you
I know
enhance the
AI
certain areas,
obviously is
please?
going to
And it come back with that.
upscale it to what you
What
want,
about
but like you can
Whatever is
almost
that?
see that in the original clip anyway, yeah.
Yeah,
So that
because
was what watching us
all
at
he's
the bottom
done
of
is
my tab,
said
my place.
enhance. He hasn't said
What
add anything or.
Fret me to death.
Yeah.
What would you lot
Why
do?
how fucking weird, like
That is creepy, that.
creepy, innit?
Yeah. Right?
And I think I seen it in the very first video that he put up, like in the comments, somebody that was a clairvoyant. I think it was maybe somebody that was related to him had
Yeah.
basically said that 100% that was an entity because the way it kind of poofs up
Yeah.
as his wife or whoever it is that
Yeah,
walks through it.
if it was a bit of
That's a
fog or something, it
oh,
would have
you just
stayed
walk
the
through
exact
it.
same shape. Where
Exactly.
as she walks, it literally.
It moves with
Yeah.
her, which is really weird. Like, 100%.
Right, well, that is the end of this episode, and we both hope you've enjoyed it.
I thank you for watching, everybody.
And make sure you subscribe and share our channel to all your friends, all your decorating
And
friends.
sleep with your lights on tonight. Ooh.
Ooh, good night. Right, good night.